How did the Jews look? I don't understand why there is so much debate over the appearance of Jesus Christ and the ancient Israelites. For me, this is fairly straightforward. The Bible is literally a documentation of the origins of the Israelites and chronicles their journey as a nation and much more. However, for now, I'll focus solely on their physical appearance. The nation of Israel was initially a single ethnic group. Like most nations, the majority of the population shared ancestry and, generally speaking, similar phenotypes and features. For example, if I tell you a story about a Chinese man, a certain appearance comes to mind. Similarly, if I mention a group of people from the Congo, you'd likely assume they belong to a specific racial category. The Middle Eastern fallacy. Some people argue, I think Jesus looked Middle Eastern. This statement is problematic. Saying that is like saying, I believe the Comanche looked North American. What does that even mean? Historically, the Middle East has been home to people with a vast range of appearances, from those as pale as Europeans to those as dark as sub-Saharan Africans. However, when people say Middle Eastern, they often mean brown-skinned individuals with pointed noses and beards, a stereotype shaped largely by the Ottoman Empire's influence. But how did the natives of the Middle East look? The truth is, some of these groups remain in the region to this day. Historically, the Middle East was closely connected to Africa, often considered an extension of it. For example, ancient Egypt was located within what we now call the Middle East. Many natives of regions like Iran and Iraq also display features associated with Africans. Additionally, the Canaanites, who once inhabited parts of the Middle East before losing their land to the ancient Israelites, are linked to African tribes believed to be their descendants, primarily due to shared spiritual practices. For now, I'll focus on the appearance of the ancient Israelites. The topic of the Canaanites and the curse of Canaan will be addressed in a separate episode. Why does this matter? If we've been misled about the skin color of Jesus Christ, the next question is, what other lies are we being told? While this isn't a biblical channel, I'll stick to scriptural references to address this topic. Biblical descriptions of appearance 1. Acts 13:1, Simeon Niger. The Bible mentions Simeon Niger, a Jew. The term Niger is derived from Latin and used to describe someone with uniquely dark skin. This is also the origin of the words Negro, too. Revelation 1:14-15. This scripture describes Christ's hair as white and woolly, and his skin as resembling brass burned in a furnace. Metatron, the YouTuber, is on record arguing that the description of his hair refers only to its color and not its texture, and that the description of his skin refers to burning brass rather than brass that has previously been burned. But why compare it to brass specifically? Furthermore, all metals burning in a furnace look exactly the same, but I digress. Third Song of Solomon 1:6. In this poem, believed to be written by King Solomon, a dialogue occurs with an Israelite woman who describes her skin as black as coal to be more specific. For this to be included, a significant portion, if not all, Israelite women must have had darker skin. Fourth Lamentations 4:8. A group of Israelites is described as having blackened faces. 5. Acts 21:38. Paul is mistaken for an Egyptian. Even though Egypt was under Roman control at the time, Egyptians were still predominantly black in appearance. 6. Genesis 42:8. Joseph's brothers did not recognize him, likely because they mistook him for an Egyptian. 7. Exodus 2:10. Moses was adopted by Pharaoh's daughter at a time when Hebrew firstborns were being killed. For her to claim him as her own, he must have looked like an Egyptian. This was over 3,000 years ago when Egyptians were jet black. Cultural indicators 1. Nazirite hair. The Bible describes the hair of Nazirites as naturally locking, a texture most commonly found among people of African descent. 2. Ezekiel's dreadlocks. The prophet Ezekiel is described as having dreadlocks, and Samson is noted to have cornrows, hairstyles prominent in the black community. While these last points may sound far-fetched, when considered alongside the other evidence, They support the argument that the ancient Israelites were darker-skinned people. Conclusion. The purpose of this video is to make you think critically. If the mainstream consensus about Jesus Christ, a figure considered to be the Messiah, is incorrect, then what other lies are we being told?